Hey, are you struggling to improve your aim and you don't have the time to grind out aim trainers? Then this video is for you. I'm going to tell you how to utilize movement along with aiming to make you more accurate. This is the first video in a series that will help you fundamentally understand how to play the finals better. The series won't be guides to follow, but rather resources to learn from. My goal with this first video is to have you actively think about your movement and how it influences your aim the next time you hop into a game. With that being said, my name is Consonant. I've been playing competitive FPS since Halo 3, and now I'm here to share all of my nearly 20 years of FPS knowledge with you. If that sounds good, then welcome to the Finals Fundamentals, my series to have you thinking about the basics on a deeper level.
Alright, so first I want to talk about close range, and at close range I would recommend mirroring the opponent's movement. And mirroring their opponent's movement is just when they go to the left, you go to the left, and when they go to the right, you go to the right. And close range also I'd like to mention is whenever you can hip fire, I will consider that to be close range. So at this distance it's close range, and this is what it looks like. I move along with the dummy and I fire. This way I don't need to do a lot with my mouse. I do not really need to aim at all. I just follow them, and if they change directions, I change directions too. That's it. Now with that being said, let's look at some examples.
So in this first clip, you can see that as I encounter the enemy, I move left when he jumps left, and then when he jumps to the right, I also move right, and I make sure to keep my crosshair around center mass, so whether he's jumping or on the ground, I'm very likely to hit him. In this clip, a heavy is moving to my left, so I move left with him and only move my crosshair downwards as he jumps through the hole, and then after a light starts engaging. So I move backward and to the right as he's moving forward and to the right, and then as he dashes behind me I do a 180, and then to predict his movement I move backward and to the left.
Alright, next I want to take a look at longer ranges, but before we get into that I want to introduce something called recoil smoothing. And what recoil smoothing is basically while you move your crosshair when you ADS, it reduces the amount of recoil that you will have. So the F-car without any recoil smoothing, without trying to control for the recoil at all, looks like this. It has a lot of recoil at the start, vertical recoil specifically, and then basically stops near the end. But if I use recoil smoothing, if I activate recoil smoothing, it will look like this. I will not control for vertical recoil at all. I'm just moving my mouse left and right, and you can see there's no vertical recoil. So let's take a look at what that will look like at a longer distance. This dummy is 40 meters out, and before I get into that, I want to mention anti-mirroring. Okay, so in order to take advantage of recoil smoothing as much as we possibly can at a longer distance, we want to anti-mirror the enemy's movement. So basically just the opposite of mirroring, right? So if they're going to the right, then I want to go to the left. If they go to the left, I want to go to the right. So let's take a look at what that will look like. And of course, we know the F-car doesn't have recoil near the end, so when we know it will reduce the recoil at the end, then we don't need to anti-mirror anymore. Just anti-mirror as long as the gun has recoil. And then we can go back to mirroring if we prefer. Alright, with that being said, let's take a look at one clip that I have.
In this clip, the enemy is standing still at first, so I move to the right and aim to the left to take advantage of recoil smoothing. And as he starts moving to the right, I move to the left to continue taking advantage of recoil smoothing. And you can see how accurate I am at this distance. With the help of recoil smoothing, landing shots at this distance becomes possible.
Alright, so we've taken a look at close range and long range. Now let's take a look at mid-range. And mid-range is more preference-based, I would say, because at mid-range it's still pretty easy to control a gun's recoil if you are proficient with that gun, but also anti-mirroring can be really helpful. Recoil smoothing can help a lot as well, so it's more of a personal choice. I prefer to anti-mirror at mid-range mostly, but mirroring is totally okay, so I'll show you both. This dummy is 20 meters out, so I'll first mirror his movement and just control the recoil. It's fine. And also, when he respawns, now I'll do anti-mirroring. I personally prefer that a lot more, but both are totally okay. How about at 30 meters? Now I'll do mirroring. Totally fine. As long as you can control the recoil, as long as you're confident in that, and then you can mirror. And then if you prefer recoil smoothing, anti-mirror. Well, that was not very good, but you get my point. Both are totally okay. Alright, with that being said, let's take a quick look at a few mid-range examples.
In this clip, you see an enemy is moving away from me and to my right, so I decide to move to the left in order to take advantage of recoil smoothing as he jumps through the air off of his jump pad. Here, despite being close mid-range, I still choose to anti-mirror because I prefer my guns to have as little recoil as possible. So, we've learned how to utilize movement to help us aim at close, mid, and long ranges. Now, let's test ourselves with a few scenarios to review. Test number 1. We encounter a light who tries to run away, so we chase him, and as he turns the corner, he jumps into the air. Now, based on what we learned about mirroring, could we ourselves jump into the air to mirror his movement? The answer is yes. Remember, mirroring means following the enemy's movement. That includes jumping and crouching. In this clip, we see an enemy is slightly far away from me. So I have 2 questions to ask you. First, should we anti-mirror his movement in order to take advantage of recoil smoothing? And second, as he comes closer, would it be a good idea to start mirroring his movement? The answer to both questions is yes. Remember, movement is a tool that we can utilize to improve our accuracy, and how that tool is utilized is up to the individual's preferences and how comfortable they are on the weapon they are using. Here, we see an enemy at close range, so my question for this one is, how should we move? We should move along with him, mirroring his movement. And here's another question for you. Is it absolutely necessary for me to mirror his movement until one of us dies? Of course not. This game is very dynamic, and mirroring an enemy is just one way to utilize movement as a tool. Alright, you've made it to the end of the video. What'd you think? Was it helpful to you? Let me know in the comment section. I've also made a Discord where you can talk with me or others who are trying to improve at the finals. Lastly, remember to like the video if you appreciate this kind of content and subscribe to my channel because I have a lot more videos like this that I'd like to upload. Now, before I go, I want to let you know that you don't need to be the best. You simply need to be better.